Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Face the Music. Glad that you're here today. Hey, listen, today's January 19th. We're heading into the weekend. By the way, hope you have a great weekend. Fantastic. You see who we've got down below. We've got Dan Vasc. I mean, this guy, incredible. You know, I went back and looked over my last couple of episodes that I did, which a couple of them featured Dan Vasc. One of them was his cover of Elvis Presley's An American Trilogy. Another one was his cover of Nightwish's Everdream. Both of those were absolutely great performances. And, you know, I went through and I read all the comments. Now, let me just say this, and I've said this before, but I want you guys to make sure that you're clear on it. I read each and every single comment. I do read each and every single comment. And not only do I read each comment to me, but I also read the replies to the comments. In other words, if you guys get on there and you start talking to each other, and I read all the cross-conversation replies. It's fantastic to see you guys, you know, talking to each other, informing each other about this or that, or just kind of like conversing, because by your conversations with each other, I also learn about what's going on. So, very nice. I really appreciate it. And for those of you who maybe type or send messages in foreign languages that maybe I don't know, for example, I saw some Portuguese, I think it was, messages, and I wasn't sure exactly, but I went ahead and I used Google Translate. I went ahead and moved it over, you know, read what it said, and then, you know, I was able to, like, understand what was going on. So, again, even if it's in a foreign language, I'm going to double check it. I'm not going to just look at it and say, well, I don't know what this is. I'm going to read it, because, you know, if I have to do a translation tool, I'm going to go ahead and read what you guys sent. And I, like I said, really appreciate it. You guys are great. As far as Dan goes, someone made a comment, you know, really glad that you got, you know, that you're really into him right away. You know, you can, you know, that you really appreciate his vocal ability. You appreciate him as a singer, you know, etc. Different nice things that they said, you know. And one thing I got to say is that, you know, when I'm watching Dan sing, he's kind of like other singers in terms of, you know, he's not the only one, I'll put it that way, that is like this. But one thing I do like about Dan, what I mean to say is that he, you know, he feels the music, okay? He feels the music. He's not just standing there performing. You know, anyone can stand on a stage or stand in front of a microphone and deliver a song. I get it, and that's not bad. But, you know, it's not a show for him. It's not a performance, quote-unquote performance for him. You can tell that he really feels the music, that he really expresses it emotionally, and he gets that across to you. So if he can express, so anyone that can do that can take a song and express that same emotion that they feel to me, and I get that same emotion, hey, then that's a fantastic thing, right? So I know you guys know what I'm talking about. So today, there's a few songs I want to get to. I had a lot of recommendations for a lot of his songs. You know, some people were like recommending opera. I'm like, he sings opera? This is great. I got to check opera out. I'm definitely going to be doing that. A lot of people recommending The Last Ride of the Day. I want to definitely get to that one. I think I responded back to a couple of comments saying, you know, that's going to be a great episode when I do it. Not necessarily my episode, but it's going to be great. I'm going to be able to hear and see exactly what you guys are talking about with Last Ride of the Day. Amazing Grace. A lot of people recommended that song, so I want to get to that. But this one here, someone recommended and said, hey, look, you know, you just did an Elvis cover. The next one that you should do is you should do Love Me Tender. And so I'm like, okay, sounds great. Want to do that. So this is the way we're going to go ahead and go into the weekend this weekend. Going to go ahead and do a Dan Vasc episode. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'm looking forward to this because I really like the first Elvis cover that he did, An American Trilogy. And, of course, the other, you know, song, as I mentioned, the Nightwish cover. And so I think this is going to be fantastic, too. Looking forward to it. So no more talking. Here I go. Here we go. Dan Vasc and Love Me Tender.
I woke up the other day and I decided to check my Facebook inbox messages. I never do that. I receive lots of messages and there's no time. But for some reason, I decided to do it that day. And there was a message from a lady called Annie that said, quote, "Hi Dan, I realize you're likely very busy, but my husband is 78 and just loves your YouTube channel. He's terminally ill, and last night, as he listened to you, he noticed you did an American Trilogy Elvis cover. He cried his heart out for you on the loss of your father. He wanted me to ask you for your permission for your video to be played at his service when he passes." End of quote. Talking to Annie, I discovered that her husband, Robert, is a big Elvis fan, so this one goes to Robert and Annie.
Wow. That was incredible. Wow. Awesome.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me long, take me to your heart. For it's there that I belong, and will never part. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me dear, tell me you are mine. I'll be yours through all the years, till the end of time. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will.
Wow, now I know why you guys from Vasc Nation really recommended that song, and maybe even to do it very soon after in American Trilogy, because I can see the connection there. Wow, that was awesome. Dan Vasc, of course, with his cover of Elvis's Love Me Tender. And again, I don't know, maybe I have, I don't know. I can't think of anyone in particular off the top of my head, but I don't know of anyone that I've ever heard doing that song outside of Elvis. I'm sure there's probably other artists who've covered it, don't get me wrong. But again, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that actually has covered that song. I mean, whenever I think of that song and the song title, Love Me Tender, and the way the song goes, I always think of Elvis. I think most people do. But I'm telling you right now, that was absolutely very, very good. I mean, you know, to be able to take that song and just to give it the emotion and to, you know, I really, you know, the part at the beginning where he included the section where he talked about Annie, I think her name was, who sent him the note about her husband, and how he wanted an American Trilogy from Dan to be played at his funeral, and how he included that part right before he actually did this footage, this episode where he sang the song. I mean, that's what really brings us into these artists, I think, because, you know, I think, I wasn't planning on saying this, but I was thinking about this a little bit during that song, is that these kind of, you know, these artists, that they bring you into their world. Sometimes you look at these people, like whether they be actors, famous musicians, celebrities of any type or sort, whatever, and, you know, a lot of people, they just look at them as like, they're not really human. They're like over there somewhere, you know, I can't really get into their world. I can like appreciate their art and their craft. I can't really get into their world. But it's artists like this where they bring you into their world, and when you can actually share their feeling, their emotion, their pain, their joy, whatever it is, that's what makes a great artist, when they bring you into their world. Yes, they may be on a separate level than us in terms of their abilities, their talents, whatever. I know I can't sing. I can't do probably most of what he can do. Obviously, I know I can't. Many of us probably can't what he can do vocally and in his craft. of being a music artist, but being able to come into his world and to just share in those kind of emotions, those kind of feelings, that's fantastic. That's what makes a great artist. And when those people, when someone, like I said, when I referred to it at the very beginning of this episode, someone made the comment of, hey, it's great that you kind of, basically I think that it was the idea that you latched onto him so quickly, that you really appreciated him so quickly. That's why. It's those kind of things. It was the emotion that I saw in American Trilogy, the tears on his face, his father recently passing, the emotion that he felt and transferred it to you as the listener, to me as the listener, into the reactor. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. Really, really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for that recommendation. Glad I had a chance to do it. I hope that you enjoyed my reaction to it as well. Well, that's it for today's episode. If you're not a subscriber, do me a favor. Reach on over, hit that subscribe button. Just go ahead and reach over, hit it. Hit it right now. Boop, just pop on it. There you go. Hit it. Join this big family. Let's keep all this great music alive together. Also, check down below. I have a hashtag, Face the Music Reactions. Click on that, or just simply go to my playlist section. You'll see all my other previous content, including my reactions to Dan Vasc and to a lot of other great artists and music and songs. I'm sure you'll find some other great content in there that you'll enjoy as well. Come on back next week. Come on back next time. I've got a lot of other great content in store for you. I'll see you right here next time on Face the Music. Take care.